like beginning of next year to catch up on my backlog from 2017.
All right, let's try it again because I had us muted. Yo, welcome to the pregame.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yo, guys, it's been a crazy freaking day. Yo, even O-Snaps is like, yo, why are you running around and stuff? I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Yo, I've been running around all freaking day, so I finally have a chance to sit back and relax. I just gotta catch up to myself. That's all.
That's funny. Yeah, you was over here scared of a damn beetle.
Xbox buffering.
Yo, I didn't know what the hell that was, man.
It's a beetle.
Is there a beetle?
It was a beetle. Yeah, well, he was like
huge, yo.
It was big. It was just a big beetle.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah. The thing was, I was sitting outside having a bogey, right? And I was talking to O-Snaps, and all of a sudden she looks down, and her face just like turned white. She can't like deal with those types of insects or whatnot, and we don't see that shit around here. So when I saw it, I jumped. I had just put my cigarette out. I dropped my cigarette butt, and I'm like, "What the hell is that, yo?" And like, I took a picture, put it up on Twitter. I was like, "Come on, somebody tell me what is going on here, yo."
Yeah, well, you be afraid if that thing is little. If you wanted to see a real one, you see them big ass African beetles. I forgot what the actual names are.
I thought of what was it? Scarab? I thought of like the Egyptian beetle, and shit like that. Yo. I was like, man.
You mean from the Mummy?
Yeah, he's from the Mummy.
No, it's not only from the Mummy though. Those shits actually exist. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we know, but they don't be eating people up like that, and you know, saying like they do on the Mummy stuff. Don't need to worry about it.
How did you kill it? Did you eat it?
Hey man, you can barbecue that.
Quiet.
Brett had me choking when he said that, man. Oh my god.
Don lives out in the wilderness, you know.
Hey, listen here, dude. I'm eating the most magnificent jerk chicken right now. You guys don't even know.
Yo, guys, everybody in the chat, he actually sends pictures of his food into the next podcast DM, like he wants it to be a topic or something, man.
No, mostly because Snaps is traded. She's a traitor, man. She went straight up vegetarian on us. So
bacon? Oh,
that's why she always gets bacon pictures. Weekly bacon pictures.
Yeah, who's that comedian, man? He's got the bacon hidden all over his office and shit for the bacon.
Yeah, that was in
that shit was crazy.
Hey, man,
bacon flowers.
When there's a wheat shortage, you better start stocking up on bacon because then there's not as many pigs. That's just true facts of life.
All right, guys. Well, I am just about there to get everything set up for the intro and whatnot. I am really hyped for this show. I think we got a couple really, really good topics here in terms of Gamescom and what I've been seeing on social media. Everybody and their mother is promising a kitchen sink when it comes to Gamescom. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
They have an Epcot Center there, so I mean, what do you expect?
What is that ball for? They got like a window that points straight to the.
It's an Epcot Center. I'm telling you, man. It's gonna be a small world in there.
Yeah, but I was in Epcot Center, man. They got a little ride that goes up and down and all around, and like there's nothing like that. It's too small for that shit, man.
Trust me. No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Xbox has got this.
I like it when you first said Xbox got this. I like that. Yeah.
No. Then I realized that was
not true.
That was not true.
That's completely way off.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Xbox got legal problems.
All right, guys. I think
they're gonna eat.
You think what?
You think they're gonna eat you?
Yeah, scarabs. I was thinking of the Mummy, guys.
You didn't dream about that shit tonight.
We never see that shit, man.
Be waking up, scratching up, and eating scratching.
I'm sorry, we don't live in like the grasslands in the middle of the country where they have like
what you trying to say?
Skinwalkers.
I know, man. You know, I'm from Texas, Mega.
I'm from Oklahoma. Yeah,
what are we talking about? We're neighbors.
Yeah.
We neighbors. I live in California, where all the people drink lattes and.
So
you're
near
lunch breaks and shit.
You're near San
That's
Francisco.
just considered a state.
What? You're
near San Francisco?
No.
Tinky winky.
No.
Lose all your gaming street cred when you say that. You know that, right?
No. San Francisco's like 4 or 5 hours away from me.
San Francisco treat. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think Fonzarelli from San Fran. I think he is.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't.
yeah. Whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, I think it's about time to get the show on the road. What do you guys think? You ready? You ready to check out the intro, yeah?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, let's go. What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. As I was saying in the pregame, we have a bunch of awesome topics to talk gaming news for you guys, and of course, I cannot start with that until we get into the intros. And I'm going to start off with that man that makes your lights flicker. You should see it happening right now, because it's about that time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? I had a mouthful of food as soon as Bob introduced me, so I do apologize, but it's going to be a fire show today, and it is good to have Dark back and Predator. So, yeah, let's do
this. As a topic. Any point.
Listen here, if I can fax you some bacon right now, I would.
I believe Snaps has a fax machine at her job. If you want to.
No, don't tempt me, because I will do that, and she'll know who it is.
Nice. Well, like I said, with these topics, man, I can't wait to touch base with you. I want to see what you have to say about Gamescom, and we'll kind of go from there. So let me go next on the list. You know, he's got that tri-beam laser on the gaming news. Not only that, man, he's letting people know that Xbox really needs to upgrade those kiosks, whether it's Walmart, GameStop, or whatnot. My pleasure to introduce Predator!
What's up, man? Almost like you forgot my name for a minute there.
Dude, I'm clicking on stuff and stuff like that as we speak, so I'm like, oh, man, I'm trying to multitask here. Sometimes it works really, really well, and other times, man, it's dog shit. But anyway.
Oh, man, it's all good, man. Hey, happy to be here again. Another week with you guys, and it's always a blessing to be here with K-Mega, the Don, and Daz. I'm sorry, Dark. So let's I was just talking to him in chat. That's why I like. So let's get it going, man. You guys, I got to cut this short today, so I got to take my stepdaughter out to dinner before she goes back to college. So.
Nice.
Let's
well,
get this shit going.
Take a look at the topics again in the DM, and when I get through the intros, I'll let you pick the first topic, something that you really want to talk about before you have to go. All right, man.
Roger that.
All right, beautiful. Next on the list, coming live from the 405, and he feels like he is wearing that crown for one victory in Madden. K-Mega.
The self-proclaimed leader and king of Madden and Tekken is upon you guys. Yes, all hail the K-Mega, the great. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to be on the next podcast, man, with the family. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's a couple of our members that's going through some things. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're ready to get this show popping off. You know what I'm saying? Glad that Predator's back, and I don't know what that other bum is that's over there. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And Don, what's up with you, man? We ready to get this popping.
Yo, nice, man. Yo, well, speaking of that other guy that you're talking about, the only one on the panel that has actually survived Jurassic Park, it is my pleasure to introduce Dark Artemis.
You know, I was happy when I came onto the show until K Mega started talking about fucking Tekken, and I'm all like, oh shit, here we go. But no, it's happy. I'm happy to be here tonight, man. It's gonna be a fun show. Definitely ready to get into these topics.
Nice. And as usual, shout out to a couple of our fam out there, doing the life thing. Of course, the golden voice of the next podcast, my brother Fuskis. Yo, huge shout out to him, man. As soon as everything is straightened out, we have that seat for you. We got the candles all around the seat as well for as soon as you start talking, the candles light up, all that good stuff. So huge shout out to Foos. And of course, oh snap, it's Mel, the first lady of the next podcast. She is out there doing what she does in terms of giving people diabetes with all them cookies. So huge shout out to her.
That keeps on giving. Like that is awesome. And with Foos, his seat is literally like the Game of Thrones, but like women's underwear.
Wow. Dude, I just had that picture. That is crazy. Well, let's get into it. Yo, Pred, did you look over the topics once again, man? What is that one topic you really want to talk about, dude?
Oh man, just keep it in the order you got it in that's in the chat right now. That's fine.
Oh, so you want to go the main feature first, which is what I consider the whole Gamescom hype thing. Is that what you're saying, man?
Yeah, let's go into that, man.
All right. Well, you're gonna catch the question first, but here we go. When it comes to Gamescom, you know me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on social media, and it's funny to see a bunch of gaming fans out there, Xbox fans. Anytime a question comes up about something, whether it's Crackdown, which we know we pretty much know the multiplayer is going to be shown again at Gamescom. But when it comes to other things like the Elite controller, the new Elite controller, which we haven't seen anything about, news of Halo, new IPs, stuff like that, everybody is like forever pointing to Gamescom here. And I'm just wondering if us as a gaming community, if we're kind of overhyping this thing, because first of all, there's not going to be a presser like we're used to with E3 and even Gamescom from like other years. So we're not going to have a presser. They're not going to have front and center stage for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, to where they can really show this stuff off to the media and to the gamers that are over there. So I'm wondering, Predator, when it comes to Gamescom, do you see like the gamers in social media, do you think they're hyping it up too much? And what do you think is going to be possibly the highlight for Xbox and Gamescom, man?
Dude, we do this every year, either whether it's E3, Gamescom, or whatever conference that's like a huge conference. We, as consumers and Xbox fans, PlayStation fans, whatever fan of the console you are, we overhype the event and we get let down because what we expect to be shown there isn't shown. We did it this year. We did it last year. We've done it like throughout the history of time. Like we see these leaks, we expect things to be there. Like I think people are expecting Fable Legends to be there last year at E3. It didn't happen, or should I say this year? Like it always happens, and so we always overhype these events because we don't know what to expect. We don't know what Microsoft's bringing to the table. We have a list of hopes and wishes and dreams that we want to see there, and they never show up. Not never, but like some of the stuff does make it there. But all it takes is one leak or one person to put something on Twitter. I can tweet something out right now and say, I don't know, I can make something up and put it out there on Twitter right now. And if it gets circulated enough, people will start believing that. And that's the power of the media. That's the power of social media nowadays. I try my best not to get involved in the hype unless I see something that really piques my interest that I really think is valid. Outside of that, I don't try to retweet anything. I don't try to post anything. I don't try to comment on certain things. Because I know once it gets circulated through the mass media, we start believing it as fans.
So you're more about what's concrete.
Yeah, I'd rather see what's coming. Like I don't get myself overhyped until the actual event is about to happen. Unless I see something like no shit legit coming from a legit source, I calm my tits. I don't get caught up in all the other BS about with all the hype and glory and stuff like that. Now, do I like seeing leaks? Particularly, no. But if I see something that's really of interest, I will DM it to you guys and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Is this legit or not?
That is for real, man. You have pulled some shit out when it comes to the internet. Like, yo, check this out. I'm like, damn. Like, you're the one who told me about the release of We Happy Few. I didn't even have an idea about that, and I know we talked about it last week. But the thing is, like, when it comes to this Gamescom isn't normal than other ones either. With the fact that, Xbox is not having a presser. I don't think Sony is either. They're really taking kind of like a really different approach here, and I would figure that a lot of people would kind of put 2 and 2 together to maybe kind of pump your brakes a little bit in terms of your expectations when it comes to this show, man. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're right. Especially after coming off of E3, I think everyone kind of knew. Like the last 2 years, when it comes to E3 and Gamescom, we've kind of known what was coming. Like we knew because we saw the stuff that was there last year. It didn't come out, and then we obviously expected to see it again this year. So this E3 that just happened and this Gamescom, and probably going forward, especially on the Microsoft side, I can kind of see Sony trying to transition into that too. You're not going to get a lot of information. They're going to you're not going to get a lot of leaks. They're going to do everything they can to control that, because when things leak out, those companies lose money. We don't think about it that way, but like when something is leaked like that, we get a hold of that as fans. And if we don't like it or we do like it, we have a either positive or negative outcome to what we see. And it either takes something away from one thing or it adds something to something else. So let's say Crackdown footage leak right now. And it was amazing. And it's amazing footage, right? It's like, oh my God, this is what we were expecting. We will hear the backlash from the Sony guys about how it looks like shit. But our Xbox guys, we will hype it up like, oh my gosh, this game looks amazing. So like there's a yin and a yang effect there. It's like it's nothing's ever going to be right. So Microsoft and Sony's doing it too. They'd rather just announce it when they want to announce it versus having it leak. I mean, remember the 1S leaked a couple of like a year and a half ago?
Oh yeah, they gave that tweet out with the guy shrugging his shoulders.
Yeah,
like,
and even when the I can give you a better example. When the PlayStation 4 Pro leaked out, like how it looked, like the double fucking bacon stack, whatever the fuck it was.
Just so you know, it hasn't changed. It's
double
cheese. It was what it was, but like it a lot of people didn't like the way it looked, and so there was a lot of negative press about the way it looked. Just like that fake ass Nintendo footage that came out that looked like it was like a little phone or a piece of glass.
The football controller.
The Stewie controller.
Yeah, and it like there was so much negative press around. People were like, what the fuck is that? Like they didn't like it. But then what came out after that, it was what we got now, the Switch. It looks nothing like what we saw in that leak. So you can't believe a lot of leaks. That's why I don't really pay too much attention to them. I'd rather see the legit stuff coming from a legit source. Like when old boy leaked the price of the Xbox One X, that was a legit leak from a legit source. And the backlash came after that, and it was all like, oh my God, $500, da 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 da. So like I don't really give two shits about leaks. I don't like them. I understand why they're there. People want to be the first person to put information out there, and it happens sometimes. Leaks happen, and I just want people to understand when you post something like that, you see out there on the internet, it's gonna cost Microsoft, Sony, fucking Nintendo, Apple, Google, whoever the hell it is you're posting about. It's gonna cost them money at some point in time because there are certain people out there who just don't like certain products. We should know we're Xbox fans. So some people just don't like certain products.
We have that experience. So
and if you leak something like that, it's going to cause. Some people are going to think of it positively. A lot of people are going to think of it negatively. And that investors see this shit and they're like, "Oh my God, this shit got leaked out." Let's sell this stock for this reason. I mean, it has a trickle down effect when you leak stuff like that. So I do think we overhype a lot of this stuff sometimes because I think most of it is because we're expecting certain things. Our expectations are really high. And when they don't happen, we get let down.
Yeah, I got you, man. Now, this is going to be funny. After all that from Pred, dropping knowledge and everything like that, Pred, as far as you can see from what, actual developers, people from Xbox have been talking, what do you feel is going to be the highlight for Gamescom this year?
I think they're going to show a lot of Crackdown. I expect them to see a lot of PUBG there. A lot of Minecraft. Pretty much the X is going to be the focal point, and what the X can do. You're going to get all these questions we've been asking about the One X is going to happen during this conference, like pre-order dates are going to happen here. You're going to see, and I know we're probably jumping the gun over another podcast we should probably be doing next week, but as it comes to predictions and stuff like that. But I think we'll get our pre-order dates. I think you'll see a lot of X versus a 1S comparisons. I think you'll see a lot of people getting hands-on with the X and seeing games played on the X. So that's basically it. I mean, I don't expect
that sounds like an awesome Gamescom though.
Yeah, I mean that's what we want. That's what we should have gotten in E3, and then this should have been all about the games or upcoming games that may come out a year or two from down the road. Now, I've never been to Gamescom, never been to E3. From my understanding, Gamescom is about the games. It's about the gamers and the games. So we should get a lot of gameplay and a lot of footage, a lot of Assassin's Creed, a lot of stuff they showed at E3. We should see a lot more of that. And maybe this is just my I'm gonna use someone else's slogan here. Rack this shit up. You'll see something new. You'll see something new. Maybe 1 or 2 new games. And I'm hoping, God, I hope we'll get some PUBG announcements where it's coming exclusive.
Dude, yeah, you are a PUBG nut, man. You are all in on that game right now, huh?
Yeah, I've been playing all morning, to be honest with you. I took a break and played a little Ghost Recon, but PUBG, man, I'm telling you guys that if it's doing good on Steam, it's definitely going to transition over to the Xbox One X.
Nice. I am going to move on down the list, man, and I think he's racing right now, so I want to distract him real quick. Yo, Mega, when it comes to Gamescom, man, I know, like, I see you on Twitter, and I know you're on Facebook, and I know you see it all the time. Absolutely everything and people's grandmas has been promised to be shown at Gamescom, but it's more by like the fans and stuff like that, man. Do you feel like people need to kind of like lower their expectations for this conference since there isn't going to be a presser?
Yeah, I mean pretty much everything that Predator said, I'm on board with. I totally agree. Like I don't even watch the crew's videos when Crab wanted to talk about something that's going on with whatever conference that's coming up. I don't watch it because I want to be entertained and surprised, just like a person that doesn't do YouTube. It's one of those things. If I get some information from somebody, I keep it to myself. I keep it amongst us. Don't want to make videos talking about it, unless it's already out in the wild or whatever. But if it's something that, that I could bring out first or something, I won't talk about it because I don't want to take that experience. That's kind of like to me when you watch a movie and you're getting ready to watch the movie and then a friend already watching and they tell you the ending. Shout out to my homeboy Steve that told me the ending of the Book of Eli. I still hate you to this day. And so it's one of these things where I'm like, just go and enjoy the show as a gamer. That was what was so refreshing to me for E3 because I sat back and watched everything from the Nintendo conference to the PC conference, every conference that they had. Sat back, turned off the computer and just watched. And I was thoroughly entertained because there were some things that I didn't know about. And I didn't come with really super high expectations. And I'm going to be coming towards Gamescom like that. I think that it's a positive outlook of how Predator looks at it because, just go into it as a gamer. Don't be caring if Xbox outshows PlayStation or vice versa or whatever. Just fucking go as a gamer and enjoy it.
Definitely, man. I agree with you 110%. I know when it came to E3, like that's the way I approach these conferences, especially now being multi-console owner, because there's games that I already invested a couple $100 into the PS4. I had my Xbox One since launch. I upgraded to the Elite or whatnot. So now I have the platforms and I'm looking at the games and stuff, and that's the way I look at it, man. E3 on Xbox's side showing like 42 games and everything, dude, it blew my mind. I remember we did the live stream, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, holy shit, like they haven't talked in how long, and they're just keep on coming with here's another game, here's more gameplay, here's another game, and I was like, damn, like that was an awesome show. Don, what do you think about Gamescom? You usually have a kind of like a different perspective, kind of like you getting into the industry, being a developer, working on your own game and stuff like that. Do you see where I'm saying? Where like a lot of people are like, well, we'll probably see the new Elite controller at Gamescom. I remember one of my big things when I thought about this topic was when everybody was saying we'll see the new UI at Gamescom. And what did Xbox do? They came out with a YouTube video, Larry Herb, Mike Ibarra, and they showed everybody, let people know it was in the alpha ring now. And I think they're going to do a lot of that, you know, before and after Gamescom as well. But what do you think, man? Too much hype?
You know, we've actually kind of had a similar conversation last year when we talked about Gamescom and how Xbox wasn't going to have a presser last year. And I said how that was good. And my statement still is true today. Like, Gamescom is a consumer event. It is not for press. It's not made for doing huge new announcements. Every time it happens, it falls flat, which doesn't necessarily mean that the Gamescom itself is not important. It's actually very important, especially for Xbox this year, right? It's getting people's hands on the X itself, right? And I've said this before, is Xbox, you know, they're having a hard time winning certain people over, right? Over the years, right? You got your media, you have the consumers, right? And you have the developers. And you realistically need two of those to be successful. In this case, Xbox has got the consumers, you know, attention. They have the developers' attention, but the media, they don't have their attention. So that's why this is so important. This is like a mass rush of real people, real gamers. You know, we talk about hardcore gamers. These are hardcore gamers, right? That come through that door and they get their hands on it and they give their first impression of it. And it's also, I think it's why it was so important from the whole maybe Crackdown's gameplay. As far as the multiplayer, it was important to hold it back for Gamescom.
Well, when it comes to the Crackdown, like the multiplayer gameplay, I definitely agree with what Crap Gamer said. You know, if they went ahead at E3 and really focused on the multiplayer again, there would have been people, because I remember people talking about, well, what's going on with the single player. People were thinking that the single player was actually the reason why the game might be delayed and stuff like that. I remember all that business. So I could see them coming out at E3 and showing the single player. Me personally, I thought they should have made it more of a spotlight type thing. I
still think they should have teased it. Like, just like at the very end of that clip, show a building coming down, right? And
that would have been cool.
Yeah, you know, just in the Crackdown footage that way. But regardless, this is about getting in people's hands, right? Mm-hmm. And say you can't win over the media, but can you win over the gamer? And the answer is yes, right? If you make a good game, you can win over the gamer. If you impress the gamer, like that's a big deal. So, you know, and that really forces the narrative hand of the media afterwards, right? They can either try to fight against it or they can realize the momentum there is behind something, right? Mm-hmm. So if you create that momentum at a grassroots level with the gamer, then either the media is either going to be on board grudgingly, it seems like at this point, right? Or they're not, but at that point they're losing face with the gamer. So, you know, Xbox wins either way. So, you know, Gamescom it's a great event. People should play games there. I never really think they should do announcements. I don't think it's about owning Gamescom. It's about put out and shut up, right? You know, that's kind of what Gamescom's all about.
All right. Well, I see where you're coming from, man. I don't know. I remember, you know, from like a couple years back, it was E3 and Gamescom. There was pressers on each one, and I was looking forward to both of them. Like I love when they come out and they're center stage and they have stuff to show, and you know, even different things to show for each event. It just it makes it feel like that library is expanding that much more. In my opinion, that's how I feel about it. Like I'm gonna have a question at the end of all this to kind of wrap it all up in terms of what these companies think about these press conferences and stuff like that as well. But we gotta get to the Jurassic Park survivor here, Mr. Dark Goldblum. Dude, Gamescom, what do you think? You think people are hyping it up too much? You know, I've heard people say we're gonna see the new Elite controller. I remember they were talking about the new UI, new IPs, stuff like that. Man, do you think that people are expecting way too much from this conference right now?
Well, I think everybody had really good points except for K Mega, but that
makes sense, man. I'm with you there. I'm with you.
No, there's just
Well,
there
what
is
part of K Mega's didn't make sense?
No,
I want to hear about this.
Everything after his intro.
Well, everything he said, I just tuned him out anyway, so don't.
Well, then how do you know if it was accurate, man? If you tuned him out, what the fuck, yo?
See, he just fucked up. That's why I just sit back and let him hang themselves. I love it.
See, that's why he's racing right now, man. He thinks he can multitask, yo.
I'm multitasking.
He's multitasking right now.
Yes.
So yeah, man. Everybody actually did have really good points. I think the fact that a lot of people are hyping this conference up is because they're excited. And when we get excited, we hype things up, and we don't really realize that it's not something that really needs to be hyped, because I don't think we're going to get any new IPs. I think we'll see the new Elite controller. I think we'll see the new
you think
UI.
The new Elite controller is going to be there, dude?
I think it will. I'm not. I mean, it might not, but I mean, I think they have a good chance to kind of show it off there. Since they didn't really show it off at E3, because I think they were focusing more on showing us games and the X, so I think they have more of a chance to do it at Gamescom.
Or custom Elite controllers, huh?
Ooh, that would be good. That would be good.
Very nice.
Well,
I'm
waiting for the remake of the Elite controllers, because for people who follow my channel, my Elite controller has completely kind of like fallen apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's
because your fingers are made of sausage.
Wow.
And they
oils
in between.
I have very strong hands. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or nothing, but
it's like that rock creature from the Never-Ending Story. Such strong hands.
Excellent. You got to make love to your controller, man. You can't be decent.
Yeah, you got to caress.
Yeah, man. You can't fucking hold it like it's a freaking
Yeah, you can't. Snaps might like.
Oh goodness, I was waiting.
I was waiting
for it.
But you know what I'm saying? But come on, man. You got to treat the controller with some compassion.
Dude, man, I don't know, but I was waiting for that. I actually thought, like, with E3 and them showing new hardware with the X, it would have gone perfectly if they didn't show it in the presentation or the presser, but like have it out on the floor and introducing people to it that way, like the new revamp where you take out the triggers and stuff. I thought that would have been the perfect place. So when that didn't happen, I was like, oh, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
I don't think I'm going to see it at Gamescom, man. I don't know.
That's the thing. They try to make it, more console and games centric for the E3, and I think Gamescom is kind of almost the perfect place.
Gamescom?
Oh, Gamescom. Yeah.
Never mind. Keep going, Dark. Keep going.
What? Did I say it wrong?
You said it with a soft O.
Okay. My bad. I think that it's a kind of a perfect conference to kind of show off something like that, because not very many, it's basically a place where people play a lot of games, like Don said, and they kind of they enjoy more playing just the games on the show floor and stuff. And I think with the controller, to show it off, you really have to put it in your hands and play with it and see how it handles. So I think
you are double thinking yourself right now. You're like, man, what am I saying right now?
I was a little bit, because I was like, I didn't want it to come out wrong, so I was like,
And you tuned me out.
Hey. There's no slitting throats here tonight, okay?
Okay, all right. I'll be gentle and kind.
Dark's like, man, I get more than 2 words in until Crap decides he's gonna crash the party.
Crap comes in and then just ruins my whole entire fucking night.
Oh yeah.
What if it wasn't a new Elite controller, but a third tier?
What do you mean a third tier? You talking more money?
No, 3 tiers. Yeah, 3 tiers to Elite controller. Like, do one that either is like a middle ground between like the Elite and the base controller that we have today, or even a higher end one than what we currently have today, and then just do a small refresh on the current Elite.
Don't they already have that though with the new controllers that they're announcing, like all like a Storm Shadow and the Volcano, whatever?
That Volcano is dope, man. Yeah. Oh my god, that's nice. If they could do the Elite like that, that would be great. Or then like you could sketch your name in, like you can with the customized controllers. That would be fine with me. I mean but if they brought it up at the show, again, the haters is always going to be there lurking, but that would be one of those crazy talking points. That's all they can show is controllers. They can show a million games, but that'll be the one thing that'll stick to them. So I don't know if they'll do that, but for me, like I said, I'm coming there just coming in as a gamer, I am expecting some new announcements. I think more maybe of multi-plats like Tomb Raider, things like that, but I think it's going to be a good show for the fact that we'll see some more games that's running off the X.
Mega, I'm glad you brought up new announcements and stuff. I was waiting for somebody to say that. When the hell are they going to do new announcements, though? I know they have, like, this streaming thing where they're going to show gameplay and stuff, like, on the first day of Gamescom. Are you talking, like, right there? Because it's not that traditional, hey, we have center stage right now. Take a look at this huge monitor. Brand new gameplay. Like, it's not going to be like that, man.
Yeah, it'll be just kind of like how Nintendo do their thing. Like they'll have somebody talking about it, and then like they'll show probably a trailer of something, and just get people to talk. Just not to be it'll be more personable for like they'll be talking amongst each other instead of having those big pressers because maybe they don't want to spend all the money for it or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea, but. If Nintendo can do it and it works, I think Xbox will be able to do it. I don't know if PlayStation's going to be there or not. I've heard rumors that they are, but I don't think they're going to have a presser either. So, Well,
that's scary, man. If you're pointing to Nintendo and saying, "Well, if they can do it, like what?"
Well, no, I'm saying, I mean, they don't have to do a big time presentation. I know. I love what they did with the last Gamescom a couple of years ago, but. For here, all you got to do is just show what you're coming out with, how is it running on the X, and do the comparisons, and then that's it. You don't have to really go all out and have Phil come out there with a Battletoads shirt and then try to talk about it. Just show what you have and what's available and what's coming out in the near future. That's it.
You guys are turning into pacifists, man. What is going on? Man, since the beginning of this generation, the two shows I look forward to every year, man, E3 and Gamescom, man, there used to be, lights, camera, action, star-studded this, red carpet that, and we're losing all that, and that actually
I'd rather have Xbox do their own conference, kind of like PlayStation has their experience. But that's what I'd rather them do.
But you're trying to turn Gamescom into what it's not. I hate to tell you that.
They already did that, though, with doing it that way to begin with, man.
But was it very successful?
Yes, it was.
Well, how many of those games did we get from that show?
From that show, there was a couple like that. That used to be almost like the standard coming through.
From the last one where they actually showed, what games did we get?
Gears, Forza.
But they weren't shown at Gamescom. Those weren't introduced.
I know a couple of years ago they showed. I hate to say this, Scalebound.
That's my point.
Scalebound, Cuphead. Yeah.
See, because the problem is you start using that thing. You're basically using stuff that you have to push stuff that's further out, and that's a problem. And those are either cancel games or games that sometimes people don't care nearly as much when they finally do come out because they're so far out the gate.
They're trying not to do that now too.
Yeah, that's a waste of money.
Smart.
So, I understand Xbox feels like I'm taking away his Christmas, by saying that. I get where he's coming from.
I'm wrapping up a mail bomb right now to go to your house. I'm just saying.
Oh, you can't say that out loud.
Don't worry, it's filled with confetti, man. Unless you put your hand in, you're not gonna get hurt. All right.
But anyways, I mean that's. I understand that's raining on the parade, but it hasn't been overly successful. Why force feed a event into what it's not instead of maybe double down in embracing what it actually is, right?
Well,
to get people on the multiplayer, and I'm not just talking Crackdown, anything regarding multiplayer, Sea of Thieves, all that sort of stuff. Get that hype, go with that momentum. behind it, like reinforce like the earliest games are about to come out. Like it's a celebration of gaming, right? And it should be that. But I just don't want like to turn into these weird announcements that kind of fizzle out, or something that falls flat because there's not enough
Well, they
to
didn't
kind of
know. They
support
didn't
it.
know that the games that they showed in Gamescom a couple of years ago were actually going to fall flat or whatnot. They
But
used it. Hold
they
on,
did
hold on,
know how
hold
far
on.
out it was,
I
so they know the chances are of that. I hate to
but
tell you that.
But see, and this is one thing I know a lot of people are kind of like cheering out there in the audience and in the Coliseums and stuff that, Xbox, they're only showing stuff for like 1 year out or whatnot and how great that is. But I feel like there needs to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to E3, they could have left it after Anthem with a little teaser of Fable, because we all know that they are working on a reboot for Fable or whatnot. But to show people that there's a future beyond just this year, or this, the year that they're showing with all those games. But there is more coming even down the path. I feel like they need to strike a balance there. Yeah, show most of the games coming this year, but you gotta tease people, man. Like, you really do.
Scalebound killed it. Scalebound killed it.
Yeah.
Scalebound killed it. Because I mean, nobody should the scrutiny.
They're being too passive, man. They are.
No. I'm look. What I think, just like everybody else that's an Xbox fan, you don't think that the staff or the people out there that works for Microsoft don't get sick of hearing the rhetoric from a lot of these fools out here that just they don't care about none of these games from Xbox because they're just pro PlayStation or PC. But they, what I'm saying, that affects them. When you work hard on your craft and you get all this scrutiny, it pisses you off. It's Scalebound shouldn't have got this type of shouldn't have got all that publicity like it did. It was a game that, and especially for knowing the reasons why, what I'm saying, cut the cord. It's okay. I was disappointed because that was my most anticipated game, right? But that killed it because so many news outlets and so many gamers bitched and whined about it. And they even had people that were saying that they were going to trade in their Xbox just because of a game that they probably wouldn't, they probably wouldn't have sold.
They weren't even going to buy it. And see, but
right.
you're proving my point to me, man. When you're letting all these people dictate what you're doing, you're taking away from maybe the majority of people that, I know there are some complacent people out there that would be like, well, Xbox can do that. No, I see where they're coming from. That's all well and good. I miss those big ass like pressers for you get 2 of them per year, man.
Right.
And like, I was pumped about that. I didn't give a shit like the negative kind of like back talk or whatever, because it was a platform that I enjoy and I was seeing what was coming up.
I don't care either, but I mean, I don't care either, but to other people it does affect them. It does piss them off. I mean, you got, what I'm saying, it's just more ammunition for bullshit, and that's what makes this console war so ignorant. But what I'm saying, but I think that they want to try to step away from it. They want to step in front of not having that problem again. You know what I mean? So
you keep giving like the anti-fans, and that's what I call them, because they're not fans of gaming, right? They're just fans of hating on one platform or another. But if you take away that ammo, right, then they're not the narrative anymore. Does that make sense? Like, and so they show things in a smaller window, but they show it in an appropriate window to get the people that are true fans of what they're providing the proper attention without all the bullshit, right? And that's what they're doing. They're taking away the ammo, right? And if you show game too early, what happens? You get a CGI trailer. I hate that shit. I hate CGI trailers. I want to see an actual game, right? And I want to see it running on the hardware that I'm going to be purchasing, right? So, that's the thing. As gamers, we want to be able to see the stuff running. We want to be able to have it. We don't want to deal with all the nonsense, behind the scenes, right? We just want to play our games, right? And Xbox strategy is different than Sony's, but it's the only thing that's really going to work for their platform at this given moment in time. Like, I hate to say it. I mean, that's the world we live in right now. Like,
but nothing they do, like, if you're talking about like the media and all that good stuff, nothing they do is ever gonna be good enough for them, man. Like, they can show everything that's coming out within a month and show 42 games. And the media, the next thing they're going to say is, well, what's going to happen a month and a half from now,
Well,
though? Like, there's
back,
nothing you can say that is the right way to go, man.
Look back and look at the trends, right? Everything we've always been excited as Xbox guys, right? And, people that we podcast with, people we know in the community, that sort of stuff, they've been excited about the same stuff as the people here on Next right now. However, as time went on, the naysayers got to them, right? It got to them, and all that money and all that effort in marketing goes to waste. Basically, you're just flushing dollars down the toilet at that point, right? So, as a gamer, I get where you're coming from, Xbox. It's me taking off the developer hat and me putting on my gamer hat, right? And I get it. Like,
his gamer hat is a baseball hat, and yes, he does wear it backwards, people.
I do, but that's what happens, right? Like, we all want to be excited for all that stuff. All of us as gamers, and no one here. But what we don't want is the nonsense afterwards, right? Now, would you rather put up with 4 months of people trying to deflate your excitement about a game, or would you rather put up with 2 years of people trying to deflate your excitement about a game?
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, like, what
just think
do
about
you want?
Quantum Break. Just think about Quantum Break. One delay or one, there was a series of things that
Quantum Break took a long fucking time to come out.
Right, and it took a long time. Also, the fact that it got stifled because of the fact that they didn't advertise it enough. There was other factors, but the biggest factor was that there were the naysayers that kept coming and saying, "Why is this game delayed? Why is this game delayed?" And then when it came out, people's excitement for the game went away. Because it took so long.
Man, the resolution war is exactly what killed Quantum Break.
I said that there was a whole bunch of factors. I said, but
that was the main one, man. It wasn't like for people who looked into Quantum Break, the reason why it was delayed was they actually went in and changed the actors, actresses, stuff like that, and they had to. If you notice, guys, for anybody who has played this game, let me know if you notice. Right in the beginning, the taxi driver, can you tell me that is the same guy who used to be the star?
That was the main protagonist. Yeah, in the first one. Yeah, I mean that what it was. They went another angle or whatever. But see, this is the difference. PlayStation. Uncharted 4 had what 3 or 4 delays. Nobody don't talk about it because it's just that type of situation.
Well, Uncharted 4 was a known franchise. Quantum Break was brand new, and they also I agree with you, Megan, what you were saying about the whole what you were saying was the reason why people kind of backlashed at it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the fact that it went to Windows 10, that announcement came
a big thing,
late was also a big thing because people who might have bought the Xbox One for this game were like, oh, well, fuck, I can just get this on PC and play it on my people who had PCs that were capable of playing it. They were just like, fuck it, I'll just get it on PC.
Right.
And I know a lot of people, they say that and they don't have PCs, but some people actually do. And those people might have actually bought this game on their Xbox.
It doesn't help that the PC version did not play well.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It really didn't. So, and that's not a knock on the platform. It's just, it just really wasn't that well optimized. It was early.
Did it go to Steam too?
Yeah, eventually went to Steam. I've played it on the PC and it's still not very optimized very well. And, and I have very capable rigs, right? I have development hardware, right? That I use my PCs for. And if anyone knows anything about development hardware, it's extremely more powerful than your consoles. So I can run that. I should be able to run that game. Maxed out, no problem. But it struggles, and it's just not optimized very well for multiple platforms. It does very well on the Xbox. That's a whole other subject. Like, the thing is, I'm as a gamer, I'm tired of listening to people just rag on what I prefer to play for a good 2 years. I'll put up with them for 3 or 4 months. Like, that's no big deal to me, right? Because the reality, they're just white noise and they don't really know what they're talking about. And Xbox is on point where no matter what they do, they're going to get criticized. But that's the point. No matter what they do, they're going to get criticized. So minimize the amount of criticism.
Don't you realize you're giving them a gold trophy and you're letting them know that they won something if you're changing your whole shit because of that? Like, seriously, if you're changing your whole stuff because fanboys and because haters are going to hate, dude, you're doing it wrong. And I think that's... hold on. Just one.
Got to adjust the market at all times.
What? Why? But the market isn't the same all the way around, and it should be. It's the gaming industry. So you're telling me that Xbox has to bend over backwards, has to change everything around according to fanboys and the hate that they're getting from people who aren't even going to pick up the platform, not going to pick up the software, never even think about buying the system themselves. We got to cater to those people who are never going to be involved. Like,
everybody fucking hate Xbox.
It's not catering, but it's just stepping away and stepping ahead of the bullshit, because eventually it's going to get to the point where the PlayStation is not going to be so the most in thing right now. It's just right now it is, and it is the positive, and it's the thing to do right now is to shit on Xbox anything. Doesn't matter if their games are good or they're bad, whatever.
You're proving my point with that. When you're saying that's the in thing to do, then no matter what they do,
you're not catering to the haters.
I already know where you're about to go, Xbox. You're saying no matter what they do,
it's going to be wrong.
They're not going to please anybody. Yeah.
So if that's the case, pick your direction and go that way, right?
Yeah. But here's the problem that you're saying, Xbox. You're saying, okay, let's go ahead and just screw them, right? Let's just market and go deep.
Screw the fanboys? Hell yeah.
For 2 years or what year or how far out it is versus what they're doing now, right? But what you're saying now is spend more money so the other side can tear apart and anti-market our game. That's what you're saying. From a strategy standpoint,
they have to spend their money in the right spots. That's what the problem is. They're not doing that right now.
They got to spend their money in the right spots, and going up there having a presentation and doing all that. I would like that too. But as long as they show games, as long as they show, with Crackdown and what we've been anticipating, I don't care how they do it, as long as they do it. That's all I'm saying. And again, if they want to, if their strategy is not to talk about games or to show games that's 2 or 3 years down the line, so be it. I'd rather, there's some games that we completely forgot about. I mean, We Happy Few, remember all the buzz that got? Mm-hmm. And then look at what happened to that game. We didn't even talk about it until it came up to be a topic last week's show.
Let me also put it this way, right? If you market that far in advance and then you're pissing away those dollars can go into other things, right?
Yes.
Iterations of hardware, fixing things in the UI. It can go into, Brand will love this, new controllers. Or it can go into more aggressive marketing before the games come out too, as well, right? Mm-hmm. So like that, it's all about looking where to spend the money, where to apply it. As gamers, I get where we want to celebrate and we want to be excited about games, right? But the transition, the wait time is, in my mind, is already over, right? We're getting tons of games this year. We're going to get to know what we're doing next year. I don't think they want to talk about any of the new IPs right now because they don't know exactly where they're at. But I have a feeling that one of them's closer than people think. In regards to that, and that's not inside knowledge. It's just me outside looking in, right? And we know what existing IPs we're most likely going to get next year as well, and it's going to be a good lineup. And then then we have to wait until the following E3, and that's when that's I think the golden one where everyone's kind of like, what did you bring? What's the newest new? What's going to be a sequel? All that sort of stuff. But Gamescom is really never been that thing. People have tried to make it that thing, but it's never been that effective in regards to the media and stuff like that.
All right, hold on, real quick. Shout out to Snaps. It's Mel in the chat. She was like, Xbox supporters, shit all over PlayStation 2. It always goes back and forth, and I understand that, Snaps. I'm not actually talking about like those fanboys that are out in the community. When it comes to the gaming media, they have been absolute fanboys this generation. The big ones out there, the GameSpots, the No has been absolutely horrible and stuff like that. And even if like Xbox is trying to cater to them, they're never gonna like those people that are in the big media are never gonna be satisfied. There's always gonna be something. Therefore, I feel Xbox had a great E3, 42 games, 22. Yeah. But I feel like there was still something missing, and it's that tease for the future beyond that year. I feel like you have to show, majority being your immediate, what's coming out immediately, and they showed a shit ton of games coming out within that year, and in the gaming industry, that is immediately. But to tease like a Fable or something like that, I feel that also needed to be done, and I feel that balance, You talk about people shitting on PlayStation and stuff like that, but PlayStation will go out and do their conference whatever way they see fit. They don't give two shits. They did like an hour and a half conference. I mean, an hour conference. That
conference was trash. But then most of those people out there that not the true fans, but they're gullible cattle. They don't care. They'll follow the leader and say that's great, and then they'll go off the cliff.
That's the thing. I don't want to be that on Xbox side. Like, if I have an opinion, I feel something needs to be fleshed out more or something like that. I'm not going to be like, well, I kind of understand everything they've gone through this generation. Fuck that. I am not cattle. I am not just going to sit over and be like, yeah, everything's fine over here. I'm going to voice my opinion and say what I feel they should do as well. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you do. That's what you got this platform, so you can hear. But you got to listen to the other side of it as well. I mean, it's not like I'm totally disagreeing with you. I want Microsoft to be aggressive. I want them to be aggressive with showing advertisements. For the games that we know that's coming out, show more of Crackdown, things like that. Yeah, I'm with that. But what I'm saying? But for every time, if they want to, recoup the costs and save it for advertisement for Crackdown and for Cuphead and for other things like that, go for it. Who cares? I mean,
I have one of the people on the Xbox side right now saying, and guys, the chat's gonna kill me after this. Fuck Cuphead, yo. It's been too long for me.
I agree.
So you're saying
exactly? You just contradicted yourself.
Yeah, you're saying advertising something too far out is a problem. Because that's what Cuphead is. They showed it way too early, right?
Cuphead to me is a smaller title, right? Smaller title. With them having to go back in, I like what they did for people who are fans of that. Like what I saw when it first came out looked interesting to me. Now within that amount of time, my gaming library has expanded exponentially, right? And I have a lot more games that have more kind of like innovating features and stuff like that. The whole 1930s era cartoon thing. It doesn't mean that much to me anymore. I do love the fact of what they did, fleshing out the levels for people who are really excited for that, because before that it was just boss battles. But for me, I'm done with it.
What's the solution for that game? Because obviously you were hyped about it at one point. They showed it early. You're not hyped at it because your library's grown.
There's no solution for me. I outgrew it, is what it is.
Because you've known about it for too many years, and that's what Xbox is stepping in the way to try to stop to do.
It's not even that. I can't say because stuff has already happened, right? We already saw the game and stuff like that. But if they announced that game like at this E3 for say next year, I'm not sure if I would have been as excited for something like that now. You see what I'm saying? Like that's just me. And that's why
for me, that's the most original looking game I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I got to get my hand on it for the fact that.
And then when I play Human Fall Flat or I get excited for Game Beast, you try to tear me up, man.
I know. I'm saying, okay, for Friday 13th, I fell for the okie doke. For Fortnite, I still need to play it. I shouldn't listen to people, but still, it's it's like PlayStation gamers they can pretend like they don't have a fatigue either. The reason why Uncharted could get away with that, what that delay is because the fact that it was already a known commodity. I can't talk. A known game. Just to say it like that. But if this was Horizon Zero Dawn and it had that long type of, everybody would have been talking about it for the next 2 or 3 years, it would have lost this luster as well. You know, the P5, that's the reason why Sony didn't show it, because that game is so far out that nobody knows. That's the reason why we haven't been seeing anything about Final Fantasy VII nor Kingdom Hearts 3. Is because you don't want to bring those games out, and then there might be some problems with the developers or with the studio, and then they have to stop production for a while. And then you leave people hung up like, I've been waiting to pre-order this game. You know, you just don't want to keep doing that. It's gonna backfire eventually.
Man, I don't know. Like I feel, like I said, I feel like there needs to be a balance. I like what they showed at E3. When it comes back to Gamescom, I miss the conferences there as well. And I feel the question I was going to do to kind of wrap this all up is, I feel that once Nintendo started with this whole treehouse bullshit and started kind of like pulling away from these conferences a little bit more, I'm starting to see like Sony with E3 doing an hour show. You know, Gamescom with both of these companies, Sony and Xbox, you know, kind of doing away with pressers and stuff. It feels like these companies are pulling away from this conference type thing. And that worries me, man. These are things that, you know, for years now, I have been used to getting pumped for. These are like my Emmys, but in the gaming world, you know what I'm saying? And I'm getting a little nervous here that these companies are like, you know what? We're not putting forth as much effort into these anymore. And slowly we're backing out. So basically slowly things like E3 and Gamescom in a few years aren't going to exist. What do you guys think about that?
A little bit now, because like, you know, the last 2 years, other companies have held their own conferences, like Microsoft did this past year. So I mentioned this like maybe fucking a year ago, when this started happening. Like, you know, are they losing their luster? I did a video about it, and it's like, you know, like when I say they, I mean like E3 and these conferences and stuff like that. Like, are they losing their luster? Because, you know, I think it was Bethesda last year or the year before last, did their own conference. Microsoft did their own conference last year. I think I forgot the other company. There's been like 3 or 4 companies. They kind of stepped out of E3 and did a conference prior to E3, and it's, you know, and I see where you're going with this, Xbox. I'd rather like E3 needs to stay the way it is, the way it's been, where like everyone just goes for that conference and not have these little mini conferences before E3 and that kind of aspect of it. Like, but I can see things going the way where they're just like, you know, Microsoft may just do their own event. You know, maybe 2 events a year, one in the States and one, you know, somewhere
they have
else,
showed,
you know?
no signs. Microsoft has shown no signs of doing something independently like that. And, you know, for people who are saying like they're cutting like the presser from Gamescom, possibly to save money and put it in other areas, do you know how much money it would take to do your own independent conference like that?
Yeah, and they spent a lot of money doing it this year. They spent a lot of money doing
it's about spending money in the marketing of behind the gamers. That's what they're doing. They're just not wasting energy and effort and spreading themselves too thin. It's about focusing what's coming out.
Yeah, maybe these fan fests are maybe you know, a barometer of what they might want to do in the future with an Xbox only event. You know, we never know. I don't know. They might not. You might be right, but and I'm not totally disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, like, look, man, it's Microsoft is on a different playing field right now. They're trying. Everybody wants to be on full offense, but I think they would get scrutinized a hell of a lot worse if they come out like how Z keeps saying, like, I want them to be the behemoth that they are. I want them to come out aggressive and have smart talking videos where they make fun of PlayStation. They will get an ass raping from the media.
You know what happens when you have that sort of attitude? You end up like Sega. Yeah. So we can talk about Sonic.
Yeah. I gotta bounce, man.
Yeah, no doubt, Fred. Yo, great discussion as usual. You know, everybody in the chat, man, we have our own opinions here, and we're not afraid to share them and speak our mind. At the end of the day, you know, it's all love. We're all friends. Don't get it twisted. You guys, you know, in the chat should all be cool with each other as well. Share your opinions and stuff like that, and have discussions in the chat as well.
I know, right?
All right, but let's move on. You know, they said it seems that the Don wants to talk about Sega, so we're going to talk about a couple game releases coming out this Tuesday.
Hey, X-Bot, before you get into this, man, I got to bounce, man. So I want to say goodbye to everybody here before.
All right, bro. Go ahead. Do what you got to do, man.
All right. Just want to say, see y'all later. Thank you guys for letting me tune in. Follow me, Xbox After Party. Podcast coming Sunday mornings, right before Mooch and Crap. Going to be real quick, 30 to maybe 45-minute show. Coming soon, waiting on some graphics and stuff like that from Graphics God. So tune in. Thanks for having me on again. Hope to see you guys next week.
No doubt, Pred. Have fun and have seconds for me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, guys.
Peace, bro.
Later.
All right, but releasing this Tuesday, there's 2 games, man. One of them I'm completely hyped about, and another one that seems to be like really gaining momentum the closer we get to release. The one I am hyped about the most is Sonic Mania. For people who don't know, it is a traditional 2D Sonic. Really cool kind of, I guess you could say, a throwback to what Sonic used to be on the Genesis and stuff like that. They went in and they redid, a bunch of levels, changed them up, changed paths, directions, abilities, even stuff you interact with within the environment. They just went in and they made this 2D, side-scrolling Sonic the Hedgehog more up to date. They put a lot of love and attention into this. They put a special team together that was overseen by Team Sonic and the actual creators of the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Just a lot of stuff to kind of give that love letter to the hardcore Sonic fans out there. And let me start with Dark, because I know he's hyped about this, man. What do you think about the Sonic Mania release? Is this something that you might actually you might purchase, man?
No.
Why? You too young? You're too young, man.
No. I played Sonic back in the day when I had the Sega Genesis, and that's when I stopped playing it. Is when I was playing it on the Sega Genesis. But it looks like a good game. It looks like something. A new take. Well, not really a new take. It looks like an old school flashback to the old school Sonic. So, I mean, it's always good to see something like that come out and hopefully do well. As for, I don't know if you want to talk about Agents of Mayhem, but as for Agents of Mayhem, I have no interest at all.
Really?
It's not something. No, man, I don't even have interest in Crackdown 3. So I mean, I have no interest in this game.
Guys, I've never Dark will be on. That's
the thing, dude. I never liked those kind of games, and I can't get into that kind of I mean, it's cool. It's open world. It's fun for a little while, but I'm like, I have to have something with more of a narrative and just like something that pushes me through and kind of something that I can get engaged with, and those kind of games I know a lot of people can get engaged and really enjoy them, but I just can't do it.
Oh, all right. So no to both of them, man.
Yeah, no to both.
Yo, Don, I'm actually interested in what you think about these 2 games. Now, I didn't get to describe Agents of Mayhem. I was trying to do Sonic first, but Dark Optimus went and changed the whole structure. All right, do you want to give like a little bit of a rundown of what Agents of Mayhem is?
You know what? Agents of Mayhem has the Crackdown look, but it's not as Crackdown-ish as other things that those guys have done. If that makes any sense. Like, it's not as over the top as your typical Crackdown. It's a little more down to earth and a little more grounded and all that sort of stuff. And the characters seem like they have some personality to it. It actually wasn't on my radar before, and I checked it out, and I'm curious about it. I don't think I'll pick it up day one. I'll pick it up when I kind of make it through my backlog a little bit, and play some games that way. But Sonic, I don't know. Like a new and better Sonic, to me is like that whole era between the NES to where we got to the just last gen, waiting for a good Batman game. Like there was like never a good one for the longest time, and then also now there is a good one. So we talk about Batman. I feel the same thing way about Sonic. I don't feel like there has been a good 3D Sonic game really ever, to be honest with you.
Ever.
I love the first 3D Sonic.
I don't feel like it's ever made that translation, right?
Okay.
Like very well. Like the 2D one was where it was at, right? And, it was simple. The
blast
was,
processing.
Yeah, the simple, fast. You press the A button, and then the sequel, you went the other direction and pressed the A button, right? The innovations were pretty simple and pretty straightforward, and it was a mascot character for Sega. It represented a platform, but I feel like it lost a lot of its gusto when it didn't represent a platform anymore. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I see what you're saying with the 3D things. Like I played Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. I actually liked that, but it was more for the chows than anything else. I was raising a bunch of really cool little characters that would run across the screen and all sorts of stuff. But I think this is a title. I think this is a brilliant move by Sonic and Team Sonic. Now you got to remember the development team is different. I think the developers, the team is named Headcanon or something like that. It's a special team they put together. But with them kind of going in, there's another Sonic coming out, holiday. It's a brand new 3D Sonic. And they said they have, they've kind of reconcentrated on the Sonic franchise to make it a quality title again. Basically saying, our bad for the last, 4 iterations or whatnot. And I feel... to bring the hardcore Sonic gamers back, this 2D one is absolutely necessary, and it'll give those guys, when they go in and try this one, maybe we should try this new 3D one. It looks like they are recommitted to the Sonic franchise, and it looks like they might understand us now. And let's check out the newest one that comes out this holiday, man. I don't know. What do you think, Don?
I don't know. I don't.
I'm the only one that's really into Sonic on this panel, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
but,
I'm into
like,
Sonic.
yeah, man.
All right,
like
I can't wait to get to K Mega, but we have to get through.
There's nothing
We have
wrong.
to get through to Don first.
There's nothing wrong with liking a game, but I'm just saying they haven't been able. At this point, they feel like a little.
Just
bit
don't like a trash game.
No, I'm not gonna say that either. But it's it falls more into that indie category. I would say more than playing with the big boys. If you know what I'm talking about. Like if someone didn't grow up playing Sonic, I don't see how this game is really gonna capture their interest. To be honest with you, and that's fine. There's games that I like that are the same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know what that bubble is and what's going on there. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck. And I wish every game to succeed, right? But I just don't. I don't see it. It didn't really excite me a lot back then. It doesn't really excite me a lot now. They really haven't evolved, but I don't know how you can evolve it. From a 3D perspective, it's almost like the design is.
The new 3D Sonic, the gameplay I've seen so far, it looks fucking phenomenal, yo. Oh my goodness.
One of the problems though is Sonic runs so fast. The amount of information you have to in models, you have to have so much crap pre-done and ready to go. Like that, you kind of almost have to build it. I haven't seen the 3D one, so I do apologize. Their XBot, but. You almost have to build the 3D levels like the 2D levels, like a little more simple, a little more simplistic, so you can kind of tile all the individual parts that make up the level in order to make it work.
They did some crazy shit with the so far from what I've seen the gameplay with the new one. You definitely have to check it out. But yo, me and K Mega are gonna shoot the shit a little bit here, man. Yo, Mega, we got Sonic Mania dropping Tuesday. We got Agents of Mayhem dropping Tuesday. First off, which is the first one that you would think about getting, and then let me know your opinions on both titles, man.
Well, Sonic, it would be Sonic, hands down. I got love for the blue hedgehog. I was a Sega guy back in the day, so of course I got to represent Sonic, but. I'm with Don though. I'm with Don and with Optimus. It's kind of it's lost its pizzazz when they weren't when they were not a platform. When there's not I can't talk today.
When it wasn't an exclusive, when Sega decided that they ain't gonna make hardware anymore.
Yeah, and then when they went and they was trying to keep up with Mario too damn much, and trying to make it 3D because Mario went 3D. they should have just kept to the same, just kept with the formula and just kept enhancing it. And then if they thought that they were going to actually get a proper 3D game out, then, no matter how long it would take, go ahead and bring it out. But they've been trying to catch that Mario fever, just like so many other companies been trying to catch the COD or the Halo fever. And they failed, because Sonic has gone through so many hands. I hope that this 3D Sonic will be good, but I think it's also smart that they're going back to the roots and showing we're coming out with this game, but then they're going to try to attempt to make it. I'm like Don too. I didn't see the new trailer, but I'm going to support it. Agents of Mayhem, I don't know, man. I mean, it's all right. People been showing me stuff, and I've looked at it. It looks cool.
Doesn't that game scream multiplayer though? That's my big thing.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, like I love multiplayer games now. My taste has changed, but it's just, you know what? I got the Saints Row games, and I'll put it in, and I'm like, this is so weird to me. I like the old Saints Row 1 and 2. I liked 3, but they started still going over the top, and then I was kind of like, all right, I hope they don't go no further. And then 4 came, and I don't even care. But it's like, I don't know, guys. You know what I'm saying? Do something else. I don't know what I'm saying. I know that they're trying to come out with their little spin or something. But hey, if they like it, they do. I'm not that big of a fan of it.
Mega,
so
I gotta say, like you guys know, I am a Sonic fan. So when it comes to the new Sonic, like Team Sonic, the development team that makes Sonic the Hedgehog games, they are like adamant that this is the start of that new kind of like reinvigoration for the franchise. They went in and took their time on every like single level. You get a chance to play as Sonic. I forgot as Sonic, I believe as Tails. I'm not too sure. And then you can create your own Sonic character.
What about Knuckles?
What about Knuckles gets hated on a lot, man. I don't know
why. I love Knuckles. But I like when Knuckles was the villain.
Yeah, dude, he was sick as a villain.
Yeah, he was dope as a villain. And then they befriended him, and you got to make him.
As I said, it's a tree hugger game.
Oh,
yeah, it's just one of those games, man. It's just kind of like you got to, just like how Mario always have the Koopas. What if a Koopa became friends with Mario? I think that would blow people away.
Hopefully it's the skeleton turtle, man. That's like one of my favorite characters in Mario. Like I love that dude. But
the skeleton turtle.
Dude, in Sonic Mania, you can actually play as Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, and each one has their own abilities. Knuckles has that where he can glide across the screen, he can punch shit, he can climb. So you got that, man. Traditional Knuckles in playable form. What do you think about the fact that to try to grab that hardcore kind of like Sonic fan base, which they are still out there. There are people that watch the anime cartoons, all that good stuff, big Sonic fans. Like, I don't think that Sonic Mania is out there to quote unquote get new gamers on board. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's like, hey guys, to the hardcore fans, we understand. Check this out. We made this new 2D one, and we're showing you that we are recommitting ourselves to Sonic like absolutely full time. We broke away from Nintendo. We're not just putting Sonic on Nintendo with Mario, freaking grabbing wisps and shit like that. Like we're back, and kind of like that love letter to, hey guys, come on back to us. Do you see that as well, man?
Yeah, no, I do. I think that's what I'm saying. It's smart to go ahead and get people excited about Sonic with that type of going back to the old school, and then trying to bring in this 3D game to get maybe some people that haven't played Sonic. I wouldn't know who if you're a gamer. I'm pretty sure mostly everybody's played Sonic in one way, shape, or form. But yeah, I think it's a smart strategy. That's what I'm more interested in is the Mayhem game instead of the 3D game. So yeah, I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they still make them. It's just like I agree with Don though. They have to, I just wish that they just stuck to the craft and keep it in a side scroller, 2D, kept perfecting it, and then try to come with something new, because I think if you came with let's just say right now, this would be the first time that they were going to bring Sonic 3D, I think there would have been a hell of a lot more buzz than it is now.
Yo, Mega, if you still have that controller in your hand, if you're still racing, I would suggest going over to the YouTube app real quick and typing in like Sonic Holiday 2017 or whatnot, and checking out the gameplay while we're talking about this for the new one. Because what they're doing with that, it is 3D, but the more complex areas, they spin the camera around and they go back into 2D, but with full, like, this generation graphics. And to see them make that transition and to see Sonic not, like, trip over himself and fall into a wall or something like that while they're transitioning like that, like, I feel like they're doing an incredible job with the new one. And, you know, man, in my house, we had both, like, the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, right? So I was playing.
Is it called Sonic Forces?
Sonic Forces, that's it.
All right, I'm looking at it right now.
All right, cool.
Go ahead.
But you know, I had a chance. I was a big Mario fan and I was a big Sonic fan. I wasn't one of those people that kind of took sides. I felt like they were different games. With the speed of Sonic compared to Mario's kind of lackadaisical jumping and bopping people on the head and shit. But I had fun with both of them, and I am really, really excited to have a 2D, 60 frames per second, fast Sonic again. Because I feel like when they went 3D, they tried to keep it fast, and there was just way too many glitches. And it's not until this year that I see them first coming out with this 2D one, and then really refining the 3D element of where Sonic is going into the future. I am completely excited for this. Yo, huge shout out to Bob Beast in the chat. He says he has a question. He's asking, what do we think it's going to be like when Digital Foundry is testing Crackdown 3 for the Xbox One X at 30 frames per second, comparing it to 60 frames per second on the PC, and the same with PUBG. I'm going to hit our developer because K-Mega is checking out some awesome gameplay right now. So, yo, Don, what do you think is going to happen when, Digital Foundry is testing Crackdown 3 and PUBG on the One X at possibly 30 frames per second compared to 60 on the PC? Or you think they're going to stick it out like a sore thumb? You think they're going to give it its highlights for each platform? What do you think is going to happen, man?
Man, I don't know. I can't give them too much credit. I mean, look, they test betas. Games that are a year out. They test the footage on E3 floor, which is a lot of times sometimes throwaway builds or builds that are behind what the main team's doing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if they really actually understand how games are developed, they just wouldn't do that sort of stuff. And in my mind, their epitome of when it comes to visuals, I think they are what I would consider unprofessional, as far as that goes. Will they probably do something like that, or will try to do some sort of spin like that? I'm sure they will. I don't think they really know what they want to do with their channel at this point.
I can see that.
Because sometimes it seems like they're on one side, sometimes they're not on another, and and I've always illustrated I'm not a big fan of Digital Foundry. It's because of that, right? Mm-hmm. What a developer is really supposed to do when they make a game, right, is they make it the best that it possibly can look and play, right? And they scale it back in areas where, hopefully no one notices, right? That's the whole point of it, right? You're not supposed to see the puppet strings and, what makes up the game and gain efficiencies and things like that. And what they do is they grab analytical software they can't see with their naked eye, right? And then you have somebody with not even 20/20 vision telling you what the pixel count is. Like, it's not professional. Like, and I would, I don't say anything like this unless I would say it to the individuals myself. This is how I really feel about them in this generation. Now even Xbox One X has the upper hand. I feel the same way, and a PC will never be able to outbeat a closed box, right? Because it's an open platform, and if you have the money, you can spend whatever you want to try to get whatever performance you want out of a game. So if you're trying to compare the two, it's not realistic. They're different categories of one another. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it. Like, nice. we shouldn't be putting too much weight into Digital Foundry. I always say a customer should look at the game, on the hardware it is and judge for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. And that goes with like the X. If you can't tell the difference between an X and an S, and there's going to be some people that swear that they can't, right? I'm not going to
stick with the S.
Stick with the S if you're that person, right? I envy you because I see everything. So and then the same thing goes for Pro and standard PlayStation, right? I mean, play what you can see if it's worth your dollar, right? And that's when you decide to buy it or not. I'm a graphics guy. I'm going to buy high end stuff. When I get my PS4, it's going to be a Pro because I want HDR. That's the only machine out of all their machines that can actually do it properly.
And you're going to get the Pro when Spider-Man comes out, right?
Probably when they can show me at least one other game that I really want.
One other game.
Yeah, like I need like a because I have a rule, like I don't buy any platform unless there's 3 like platform exclusives that are like must-haves, and that's the case for Xbox, that's the case for Nintendo, and that's the case for Sony, and they have good games I would play. Don't get me wrong, but they're not system sellers for me. So yeah, that's kind of how I take it. But now Digital Foundry, let's see what they do, but I think I can't take them seriously at this point.
Let's I don't think we've gotten into a good discussion about Digital Foundry with our boy Dark Optimus here. So I want to hear what Dark thinks about when Digital Foundry comes out and they analyze these games. Crackdown 3, PUBG, possibly 30 frames per second for PUBG on X1. A Crackdown is going to be 30 frames per second on the X1X, compared to 60 frames on the PC. Dark, how do you think they're going to handle this, man?
Honestly, I never cared or really ever listened to Digital Foundry. So, I mean, at this point, I'm like, whatever they say, I take with a grain of salt anyways.
That's why you can come back next week.
Because the only time I ever really listened to them is when they talked about the X, and I was just like, it was interesting in what they had to say. But when it comes to games, it's always like, like Don said, they're testing betas, and a lot of time, they shit on a game when it's not even out yet, and it's like, okay, whatever. But when it comes to Crackdown 3, I think they'll probably go with the PC version of it. I don't think they'll, because they'll be like, oh, well, the PC has, 60 frames per second, and it's just like, okay, like a lot of us, I know,
running on our $2,000 tower. By the
way. Right, exactly, and it's like, okay, well, you guys aren't, comparing it very well because, like Don said, with the Xbox being a closed box, where you can't upgrade or do anything like that to make your graphics better or your frame rates better, it kind of comes as well, it doesn't really matter what you guys say because I play on Xbox, and with you were talking about what was the other game that was there?
PUBG.
PUBG, yeah. Well, that's the thing. PUBG, of course, when it's running on a PC right now, and it runs great, but when it comes to the X, it's gonna run good too. It's not gonna be, where you're gonna have to lower your settings to get the best frame rate. Like right now, at least I don't know if it's like that now. I would have to talk to Pred because I know he's a big PUBG guy. But when I was playing it, I would have to put my settings down to low settings in order to get those 60 frames or higher setting. But of course, I have a GTX 970 in my PC right now, so it's not.
Yo, NVIDIA. Really... Oh man.
Yeah, I'm an NVIDIA guy.
Dude, get that $200. Get a 480, dude.
I was thinking about it, man. I was thinking about looking into those. They look interesting. I always kind of try to go with anything that kind of fits my style of play or whatever. But PUBG, this game is going to be fucking awesome. Either way you play it on, if you play it on PC or you play it on Xbox, it's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it, and it shouldn't really matter what other people say, honestly.
I got you, man. Yo, Mega, we had a question from the chat. I know I'm going to get into the gameplay that you saw after this question, but how do you think digital fuckery is going to deal with Crackdown and PUBG 30 frames per second on the One X compared to 60 on the open platform PC, man?
It's no different than what they're doing right now by saying that 900p is fantastic on Hellblade. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's
like a different 900p though. It's like
it's different. It's stupendous. It's this
cinematic. It's
cinematic. Send my ass to Hades, man. I'm not worried about that bullshit. When I was happy that they went ahead and said some positive things about the X, but that's really the only time that I've watched them, other than a few times that, other people just overly talked about them. And I might go in there and look, I don't care about the technical shit to that degree. I'm not a dev. I just want to play the game. If you want me to beta test the game, I'll do that too. But I'm not the type of person that cares so much about how what the resolution of a game looks like. If the game looks good, it looks good. You can just tell it by looking at it right in front of you. There it is. Great. If it runs well, that too, right when you jump on the sticks and you see if that game is going to be doing some motherfucking running man shit because it's stuttering and popping and shit, or it's actually running smooth. That's what as us gamers. So listen to somebody talking about games beforehand, before you even get them. To me, it's a crock. It's kind of like the Fortnite thing, because I was just looking at Fortnite and I'm like, you know what, that game looks kind of fun. I should have played it. I should have played it, but I didn't. And so, but me listening to other people and things of that nature, man, I'm not caring about it. I'm not caring about what Digital Foundry say about Crackdown or any other game, because I know from my own experience what I like and what I don't like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people out there do as well.
I got you. And before we end that, I still remember, Mega, you watched that new Sonic gameplay. I'm going to get to that. I just want to put in my 2 cents about this whole Digital Foundry and my boy Dick out there doing things and analyzing games. In the end, they will try to do whatever they try to do, right? I feel that PUBG is way too big of a title right now. There's way too much hype for them to quantum break it, is what I call it. Because I feel like Digital Foundry, when they came out for their analysis of Quantum Break, that was the beginning of the downhill slide. I mean, it even had Xbox fans kind of picking apart that game for no particular reason. That game is still a great game, a great single player experience on the Xbox, and I love what they did with the kind of having the episodes within the gameplay and stuff like that. I thought they did a great job, but I feel like PUBG, there's way too much hype for them to even try to squash it right now. As far as Crackdown, I can already see the media going up against it. I already see fanboys talking shit about it. And we were just talking about Agents of Mayhem. And the thing is, Agents of Mayhem has a very similar art style, right, to Crackdown. Crackdown has multiplayer in a way that we have never seen. Agents of Mayhem has no multiplayer. So, whatever, space they had in the memory to write in for multiplayer, Agents of Mayhem went in and polished in kind of like the graphics and stuff like that for it. And it's funny because they look so similar together, and Crackdown has a huge multiplayer element to it. And it's funny because I see a lot of people hyping up Agents of Mayhem now that we're trashing Crackdown and what it looked like. So there's haters out there that are just gonna hate it for the fact that it's Xbox or whatnot. Guys, I really would suggest giving Crackdown a chance. If you're feeding into this bullshit from the gaming media and what Digital Foundry is going to say about it, you might miss out on experiencing one of the most fun games and one of the most fun game franchises that Xbox has to offer. I have a blast going in on Crackdown. I am so happy that they are coming out with another one in the franchise. And guys, you would do yourself a disservice if you don't even like consider trying to play that game. Yeah.
Hey, do you mind if I answer good old Graphic God's question about?
Yeah, go ahead, because I missed the question, man. You guys got keep up with me as well.
No. He does so much for the community. I feel like, and I hate like misinformation, so I like want to kind of lay it out straight. So, basically, he's posing the question. I thought the Pro couldn't do proper HDR. So the base model PlayStation 4, the Slim, they don't have HDMI 2.0. But the Pro does have HDMI 2.0. Okay, there are different ways to present the higher brightness levels in HDR on games. It can be a post-processing effect to, say, a shader, right? So realistically, the Pro can show proper HDR, in regards to that, but the developer has to take advantage of it. The API doesn't support it the best, so it requires the developer to do a lot more work on that particular platform than it does the Xbox One S and Xbox One X. So that's kind of the differences, because I don't like to crap on one platform or the other, but that's what's really going on there in regards. So it can do HDR, it just takes a lot more, and it's only the Pro that can do it properly. Even though Sony says the base models can do HDR, it
right.
HDR.
Well, and I know that for a fact because, I have a 4K television, and I turned on the HDR on the Slim that I got, the PS4 Slim, and comparing, because I have a Battlefield on both of them, and I'm looking and I'm like, what the hell is this? What are they talking about? Doesn't look anywhere near the same. Just a gimmick. So if you want to go ahead, I'm gonna have to probably trade this one in and get a Pro.
But what happens when you play, obviously a different game, and it's not on the other platform, but what happens when you play Forza Horizon 3 and you have that in HDR? There's a big difference. Yeah, exactly. So that's just a perfect example of it being built into the API, and the HDR elements can be applied to more than just post-processing effects. Essentially is what's going on there. So, and then I don't want to say like the PlayStation can't do those things on the Pro level. It absolutely can. It just takes a lot more work on the developer side of things, and so if it's not built into the API, most developers are not going to take advantage of it. So
nice. So huge shout out to J Dubs, the graphic god. Thank you for asking that question, man. Guys on the panel, if there are any other,
I want to get a new pick. Graphics God, hook me up.
Oh goodness, here we go. But that was great, Don. Like, if you guys see any questions that spark your interest in the chat, definitely shout it out, and we will definitely talk about it. But I do want to, Mega, did you see that gameplay for Sonic Forces, man?
I did.
And what do you think?
Looked very good. Looked incredible. It looked fun as hell. I watched 11 minutes. Well, I skipped through some of the 11-minute gameplay. They showed the female character going through the stage, and then also fighting a boss. That it was cool. It looks fun. That I would buy it. I would get it. I would get it.
You see why I'm hyped, right? Like that.
Yeah, I see why you're hyped. Yeah, it looks good. But for you to shit on Cuphead. And like that, we got a problem with that. We'll have to sit back and talk.
It's understandable. Cuphead looks like trash, man.
Wait, Audimus is still here?
Get him, Dark.
Indies, man. You guys in your indies, man. Jeez.
I'm not the biggest indie fan out there. But if a good quality game is a good quality game, man, regardless.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a couple indies out there that I play, so
yeah.
Right, well,
I just have no interest in Cuphead.
Right.
All right, guys, check this out. I want to touch on this Nintendo topic real quick. I have a feeling it's going to be something that's really fast, but Nintendo Switch may be in trouble because Nintendo is actually getting sued. There was I think the name of the company is either MediaVice or GameVice, and they had a patent for these controllers that you would be able to fit on your tablet, fit on your smartphone, in order to play games, and they have started a lawsuit against Nintendo for their Joy-Con controllers. And within their lawsuit, they're talking about they want money. They want a lot of money. And they want them to stop production of the Nintendo Switch immediately. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo is no stranger to being in court. I believe there was a guy that was working for Sony who had a patent on creating 3D without glasses, to the point where Nintendo actually lost that lawsuit. And at first, they were, I think it was like $30 million was supposed to be given to the guy. But then after that, it was changed to 1.8% of the total sales of the 3DS actually went to this guy. So that's way more than $30 million. Not only that, they've been sued for, various Wii type elements, and just a bunch of hardware in terms of what they call innovation and stuff with the kind of like movement gaming and whatnot. So, let's start with K Mega. We ended with him last time. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this lawsuit with the Switch and Nintendo? And do you think that it might actually, stop production of the Switch? Or do you think Nintendo is going to be like, here, we'll just give you a shitload of money so this way they can keep making it, man?
That's exactly what's going to happen. Nintendo has deep pockets.
They haven't responded yet, though. Dude.
They don't have to. They probably already got their lawyers already cut a check, shut up, go away. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. The Switch is not going to stop production. It is a really hot commodity right now, and people want the Switch. I got to get the Switch here in a couple of months. My old lady keeps on.
I was saying that's because the missus is on your case about that shit.
Yeah, she's on me about that. I want my Switch. Okay, all right. So I'm like, all right, but it's too hot of a commodity in the fact that if this was kind of like the Wii U, then maybe there might be some, because the sales were so low, and then they would have to come foot a lot of money to this group to shut them up, and they probably just didn't, probably wouldn't want the hassle of it. I don't know, but with this, no, they're just going to give them some money, and they're just going to move around, just say, hey, look, whatever that we have to pay, we'll take care of it, and that's it. Because remember, if you think about Apple and Samsung, they always going at each other's throat about somebody stealing something from one another.
Oh yeah.
And all that happens is that they got to pay. They got to pay mad dollars. So this is going to be the same thing here.
Dude, at first, when I first saw this, I was like, man, I know like these gaming corporations. First of all, huge shout out to Luca, who just joined the chat. Luca, you missed our discussion on Sonic. So, afterwards, once we're done with this, you're going to have to go back and listen to that discussion and how much everybody on the panel is loving Sonic Mania.
Everybody? I don't know about everything.
You can't sell the show on Sonic, man.
Well, no, the first part when we were talking about Gamescom, that was a conversation and a half, man. That is
just listen to that, because Pred was just going off on Gamescom, and
it was one of those classic discussions. Where were we? Oh yeah, Nintendo. Dude, I was surprised once I started looking into the history on how many times they got sued, how many times like they lost. And dude, that one guy, it had to be like an extra painful stab that he was working at Sony. That like he won that lawsuit and got 1.8% of the total sales of the 3DS. I thought that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's all. I'm reading somebody in the chat, and they're saying that his name's Kales. He's like, it may stop production by an interjection that they'll stop U.S. imports. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company, bro. We're not talking about me, you, Don. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to see the judge. The Dodge. I mean, I'm saying if the judge sit there and tell us to stop production, we might have to stop production, but not a multi. A Fortune 500 company. No, not even close. Don't see it happening.
Yo, Don, what do you think about this, man? Like, I believe you're the one who brought this up in the DM, so I know you got to have a very interesting opinion here, man. Do you think Nintendo's in trouble with the Switch right now?
It depends on how aggressive the company that's suing them.
All out, balls to the wall.
But it depends on their resources, right? So, they can push to prevent additional sales of the hardware. They really can. It's kind of stupid to do so, though, even if you are in a lawsuit. It's just like this tricky balance, because if you keep letting them get away with it, right, the law kind of works on a slippery slope, and you have less of a case to fight against.
Yeah, your case starts going downhill faster and faster.
In the court. However, at the same token, but that's just kind of how the wording is, for every console Nintendo sells, and if they do win the lawsuit, they have to pay for all those past consoles. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it kind of has to be in the wording like that for them to kind of strike the chord, to kind of do all the legal stuff as far as that's concerned. We'll see what actually happens. I mean, I remember even Xbox 360 had some sort of issue with codecs or something like that. There was a patent on or something like that, and they were an infringement of something that all of a sudden became no longer free to use. And so there was a threat that we were going to stop bringing 360s in. It was near the end of the 360 life cycle. That never happened, right? They settled somehow, right? So, and then Nintendo's, they're strange. Sometimes they'll pay out. Sometimes they'll fight tooth and nail. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have a little bit of fight in them, right?
Yeah, that's why they have a win-loss record as well, man.
Like, yeah, exactly. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's so important for the Switch not to be stopped in production right now. It is extremely important right now, because we're approaching that 6-month barrier where, like, it's do or die for a console for Nintendo, or if interest slows down or not. It's so important for them to get as much hardware into stores, ride that wave of people still being excited about that hardware between now and the end of the year. Because if they don't do that, if they don't get that, then they're not going to get that third-party support. And I know people say they don't buy a Switch for third-party support, but consoles...
They're not really going to get a lot of third-party support anyway. I don't know what people
But consoles need that to be profitable.
They're going to get indie support. That's going to be their backbone. It's not really going to be a bunch of third-party.
Well, that's fine. Whatever support it is, right? They still need it, right? And the only way you're going to get that is by getting the hardware out there, right? So, the Switch has some growing pains to get to that critical mass area. And this is a major speed bump on that. So I wish them the best, right? I wish they can settle both parties are happy with the answer and all that sort of stuff. But it's going to be interesting to watch, because it may escalate like ridiculously quick, or we may not hear about it ever again. So.
Yeah, and I took a look. I took a look at the prototype pictures from the company that's suing Nintendo. And I mean, they are very similar in terms of how they hook up and stuff like that. So I can see where they got a gripe here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're just pulling shit out of thin air right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yo, Dark, man, I know you're a huge Nintendo fan. You love the Switch. So what do you think about this? Is Nintendo in any kind of trouble here?
I don't think they'll be in trouble. I think it'll be settled out of court. I think they'll come to a settlement.
So they're not going to fight?
I don't really know. I mean, from the pictures, man, it looks like this company came up with that idea first anyways.
Dark, I got to ask, is predicting this like predicting which way water would go down your hand if you put a drop on the top of it?
If you're in a helicopter.
In a helicopter.
Only if you're in Jurassic Park, okay? It only works if you're talking to a blonde woman.
This is getting really particular right now. Really detailed, dude.
No, I can't really see them, going to court over this, because I mean the Switch is selling so well right now, and if it stops production, like Don said, he and K Mega, all you guys have said that it's going to be really bad, and they don't really, I don't think they want that. So I think they're going to continue to make the Switch, and I think they'll just settle it out of court, and just give them some check and have them go on their merry way or whatever.
Isn't it
or maybe they might even get them
after it's out.
What?
Isn't it strange that they filed this after the Nintendo is out.
Yeah, I know. Like it was
because
shown.
They knew.
Yeah. And it was after some numbers came out as well. Like after it was selling for a while, then they're like, "Oh shit, we better get on this because there's money to be made."
They probably thought it was going to be like the Wii U, you know. It's probably not going to sell, so we'll be okay. But you know, it's Nintendo. Come on, you know, like when a Nintendo console comes out, people are excited for it.
When a Nintendo handheld comes out, people are excited.
Except, you know, when the Wii U, they marketed that completely different. They made it seem like it was gonna be like a offset of the Wii. You know, they thought an attachment to the Wii. It just didn't market it very well. But with the Switch, they kind of, you know, it kind of marketed itself with the fact that it's gonna be always on the go and stuff. So
yeah, well, and then also I think the thing to look at is what's more important to these people. To say, well, we shut down Nintendo and we shut down the Switch and now we can move our product that nobody will probably buy, or the money. Which one are they going to want?
Yo, that is an awesome perspective right there. They're going to want the fucking money. Yo.
Exactly. So, you know, so they're not, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen. I mean, Nintendo was going to sit there and they're going to have the lawyers, they're going to talk to them. And then again, if these people really are that ignorant, instead of just taking their money and moving on, of course, if the price is right, I would, you know, keep fighting. But how much capital do these people have to go against Nintendo?
Dude, not a lot. They were planning on coming out with a hardware, like a tablet type thing for gaming, right? Kind of like what the Switch is now. And they couldn't get up the funds to put it into production, which is why they went ahead and just kept the patents with the controllers to add on to Samsung, you know, iOS, like iPads and stuff like that, because they couldn't afford to make the hardware.
Well, yeah, the thing is, there could have been more money in that for them than, believe it or not, even Nintendo. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. I'm not, you know, how many iPads, how many other tablet devices are out there if this can utilize. There might be a bigger market pool for what they're trying to do that infringes upon their patent than Nintendo. And as much as Nintendo's doing, you know, well at this current point in time, right? It's still a drop in the bucket compared to how many tablets are out there. Right. It just is, right? So, or phones, or, you know, you name it, right? So it's interesting. You know, because that's a lot of money to pay out if you really think about it from that perspective.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The prices got to be right, and also that could help kickstart this company to get those things out there on those on the mobile devices. You know, so I mean, it could be worked out properly. Maybe Nintendo will do something, you know, like they did with the last person by giving them a share of stock or something like that, and then giving them a big check of maybe, you know, a couple of million or something like that. But as long as, but the money is the thing that it's all about, because like I said, they could make a lot of money, but I think that this is the goose egg that they really want, is like, hey, I just want to check and we can move on from this.
Well, sometimes it's not even that simple. As far as I understand, certain companies, like big company, like little company, big company, whatever, companies suing other companies, right? Sometimes when they settle in court, the judge will dictate where that money goes to the winner in their business. So it could be anything from like, if we give you, you know, let's say $20 million, but that has to go to your warranty department in handling warranties, or has to go to this, or has to go to that. So there's sometimes contingencies on those wins that actually happen. So it's all interesting. I'm excited to see it
exactly what happens.
See it in, but you know, I don't wish anything bad about Nintendo. I just know it's just crucial, and that's why it's something to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, fucking Nintendo is used to this. Like when it came to the Wii, the 3DS, and now the Switch, you know, they have like a line of other companies' lawyers just kind of like filing into the courthouse, you know, ready to take Nintendo to court. I mean, at the end of the day, I do like what Don said. Yeah, you can never tell what Nintendo's going to do. They might fight it. They might, you know, just cut that check.
They tried to sue Blockbuster. You guys know that? Like, they tried to sue Blockbuster for renting games.
Yep.
In regards to that, and they lost that one. So like they're a wild card for sure.
You just never know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, like I said, you don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna be interesting. It's like they have the experience here, and I do like what K Mega said when it comes to this company that is suing Nintendo. Is it really going to benefit them to like stop the production of the Switch? Like, are people going to like come out in droves to buy their kind of like version of the Joy-Con, or are they just looking for that fucking check? And I got to agree with him, man. They put that in that settlement about the whole production of the Switch and everything to step on the gas per se. You know what I'm saying? To really kind of show Nintendo that they're serious and they want that money. I think that's what it's definitely all coming down to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
it. Nintendo, it's our great uncle that just goes around and just do what the hell they want. You know what I'm saying? You might see Uncle Nintendo running around pissing on your yard, but that's what we need. Just put some draws on them. Just send them all back in the house.
All right. Well, since we're talking about money, let's talk about money that a lot of people spent on a game on the PS4 called No Man's Sky. Guys, I don't know if you've been up to date on gaming news, but you guys do know that an update, it either has come out or it's coming out for No Man's Sky. That is bringing a lot of the stuff that they promised for the game, kinda, right? They're bringing a way to do quick teleports through to different planets and different locations. When it comes to multiplayer, which is a big thing that a lot of people have talked about, you know, since this game's announcement or whatnot, kinda. If you end up on the same planet with somebody, instead of actually seeing that person, you're going to see kind of like a glowing yellow orb that you can kind of communicate with. But not only that, it's actually getting a graphical like rehaul, which I took a look at that. That actually looked pretty cool. It looked like they really went in and advanced the graphics on this game a lot more. Just all in all, you have like doom buggies that you can build and drive around on the planets.
The more you talk about the more you describe this game, the more followers you're losing.
Really?
Or not followers, but more watchers.
Well, it is something to talk about. We do actually have the game in the house as well, so it is something. It's something that I'll be able to look into as well. I'll be able to really go in and see, you know, exactly what they did with the graphics. Because right now, like, I'm kind of depending on the IGNs and stuff to show me what was going on with the game. But let's see what they put in space fights, like actual where you can shoot at those huge carriers and stuff like that. Basically, a lot of the stuff that they talked about before the launch of the game, they actually put it in, and it's been like a year, a little over a year since the game came out.
Yeah.
All right, so Dark, I have a feeling you might be the more level-headed person on this topic, so I'm gonna hit you first with this, dude. What do you think about the update with No Man's Sky? Are you happy that Hello Games is still trying to make this game what they said it was gonna be? Do you feel like it is now more on par with what they talked about before the launch of it? Just give us your thoughts on it, man.
Well, I think, what they're doing is a good thing, for the people who are actually, who are interested in this game in the beginning, who, really got into this game and who bought it. I bought it. I didn't like it. I returned it, and I was all like, I'm not gonna play it. And then, they come up with this update, and it's like, they're doing a lot to bring people back to the game, but for me, I've always been kind of the person that's like, once I have a bad taste in my mouth on something like that, it's always going to stay there, and I'm just, I have no interest in playing it again, even though they're doing so much for the community of people who bought that game.
See, Dark, you should have held on to it, man. A year later, you could have had what the game that they promised you, man.
That is true. You could have that, but I mean, it's almost kind of like I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe that update's gonna come when it does actually launch. and when I see actually people playing it, because I was watching the trailer and I was like, it's very interesting, the space battles and having like almost like a Mako.
It's got missions too.
Actual missions,
like
things like
shit.
that. But I'm like thinking to myself, okay, well, when you're on the planet, I didn't see no combat. Like there was no you're gonna be able to shoot, things on the ground. It just looked like it was still.
Oh, dude, what do you want? Everything, man. You can shoot people in ships now. Now you want to shoot people on the ground too? Come on, man.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, isn't that what we play most games for?
Shooting.
For shooting, at least I know I do. I'm a huge advocate.
You're not a Viva Pinata fan, are you?
No, I am not. I'm more of a shooter guy, so
I think you're a closet serial killer, to be really honest with you, right about now, man.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, okay, not in the closet, but.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's messed up, man. But it's good for them to come out with something like this.
At least they're trying.
At least they're doing it. At least they're doing it, and at least that they're actually still working on the game as we speak. So,
do you think it's going to make any difference, though?
Honestly, no. I don't think anybody's going to come out in droves and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to buy No Man's Sky, man. This game is awesome." I don't think it's going to get, the reviews back and people saying it, they love it and stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna have that weight to it that some of these other games are having.
I got you, man. Yo, huge shout out on Born to Tease. He said, "I will click the like button if no more No Man's Sky." Yo, Born to Tease, how come you haven't clicked the like button yet, though? I'm just saying. We do have to go down the panel. I want to hear what K Mega and Don think about this. So, Let's hit K Mega. Yo, Mega. Dude, they're finally making No Man's Sky kind of what they talked about before launch. Are you excited, dude? Hello? Hello? K Mega.
I think he fell asleep.
He passed out with excitement.
No Man's Sky.
I think that was
man. Did you get on out of here with this trash? I'm not. Look, it's a year later. You're gonna change. You're gonna say that you made all the rights wrong, all the wrongs that you made right. No, you look. I've talked bad about Friday the 13th, and I've talked bad about No Man's Sky, and I don't care what changes that they made. It's a year too late. This game came out in August. How are you going to say, well, this is our 1 year anniversary. Here you go. This is everything that we lied to you about, and we've given it to you. Celebrate. No, man. Look, for the people that has that game, good for them. But no, this is what's wrong. This is the part about gaming that is wrong, and they should not be supported about this. Anybody that praise this is naive and wants to be is cattle. It's absolute cattle. That's the new thing. You say that this is a good thing and that this is positive for gaming because they went back a year later and changed the shit that they were supposed to do when
maybe you took that long, man. Like there is a lot of shit in this update, dude. A graphics overhaul. You got a combat system now. You got like
hold on
missions.
Wait a second. Did K Mako just call me cattle?
I think so.
I mean, yeah. If you think this is a good thing,
watch out. The Don might try to milk you, yo.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm
afraid now.
Don't come in the axe, and you know what I'm saying. You got a teeth. You get on it. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, it's disgusting, man. I'm offended actually.
This is coming from a man that wears a fishnet T-shirt right now.
And I got my
please Tekken.
It's orange. It's an orange fishnet shirt. You know what I'm saying? And it's halfway cut off. You know what I'm saying?
It's a half shirt, man, like the 80s.
Yeah, man. That's how I do every podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for battle. But no, it's like. Come on, man. This is gross. This is gross on all levels. That's just like, okay, for instance, Forza. We all love Forza, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say the Forza was completely different from what they advertised. And then a year later, they say, well, we got it right. Here you go. I'm never going to play another Forza again.
All right, let me change it for you then. The Master Chief Collection. What would have happened if after a year they actually found a way to get each individual server, whether it's Halo 1, Halo 2, to cooperate and switch at a quicker speed to bring it up to par when it came to the multiplayer? Would you have been happy for that?
No.
Really?
No.
I think you would have. I think you lied to me, man.
It's too far gone. That game is already. You know what I'm saying? If you bought it on PlayStation, I'm sorry, because you can't get. If you did get your refund, you can never get a refund again. But if on Steam, there were so many refunds, man. The review, no, it's gone. There's too many other games to play than to worry about trying to jump back into this game and get reacclimated to everything that you put in there. That is a fail. I know that the developer put, is put their blood, sweat, and tears behind it, but you should have did that when you lied to the fan base.
I think Sean Murray ran out of hooker money, so you had to come back and do something about it. Like, hey.
Damn, somebody said I'm wearing black pantyhose. No, bro.
Wow.
No, that's that Tanky Winky.
Can you do me a favor, guys, in the chat? Please do not try to picture K Mega with black pantyhose. I really appreciate that.
Well, I do got my Westbrook leg sleeve on, though. You know what I'm saying? You'll see on the white Thunder Up. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you don't have Westbrook's jeans on that he wears going to the game, because those shits are painted on, man.
That fishnet shirt that he wore when he was walking, I got that on right now, man. Said, I told you I'll be coming to the podcast crunk, man. Let's go.
Good.
I told you when I come to E3 next year, because I'm definitely going. You know what I'm saying? God willing, of course. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen, but you know what I'm saying? I'm coming there with a fur coat with no shirt. We ready to go. And the first person I'm going to go after is somebody from the Xbox staff to do an interview, man.
He's also going to be oiled like a Tekken character as well.
Man. I'm coming. I'll be ready. You know what I'm saying? I'll be fresh and clean, but
I'm not going to that E3.
No shirt.
I won't be there.
With it. We getting with it, baby.
If I see K Mega dressing up as a Tekken character, I'm running the other way. I am absolutely running the other way.
Cosplay, baby. Cosplay.
Well, yo, guys, I want to get the perspective from a developer, because K Mega did say, he was like, well, the development team put their blood, sweat, and tears into this, and then he completely trashed the update. So, yo, Don, what do you think about what Hello Games is doing? When it comes to this update a year later, basically giving people more of what they said the game was going to be before launch. Do you think this is a good thing? I'm actually happy that they're still kind of trying to give what they said they were going to give. I know there was a huge backlash. Hello Games has, some PR to do, and I know a lot of this could possibly be PR, but they could have just left the game as is. I know it sold a ton, when it launched, because people thought it was one game as opposed to something else. What do you think, man?
I wasn't aware that PlayStation had a preview program. Is this their version of the preview program?
Oh, take that angle. No.
Dang.
Damn.
I'm serious. I'm serious. They don't have a preview program, but they allowed No Man's Sky to be released the way it was, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, they did a lot of changes a year later. Literally, that's what you do in a preview program, right? So it's all about context. If you do it as a preview program, I don't think there's anything wrong with what was done, right? What transpired. But if you do it as a full release game, you did something wrong. At the end of the day, because you're promising one thing and you didn't deliver that thing, right? And it wasn't like a situation where the consumer decided to blow it completely out of proportion. This is how the game was marketed to the consumer, right? Now, kudos on them to continue to follow up with that. I don't know what the long-term success of this game is going to be or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems like this is a preview program. So why is Sony opposed to it? Is my thing.
I see what you're saying, and I feel, well, when it comes to Sony, they don't have a preview program, so they are they definitely have rejected certain games. I know Ark being one of them. I know the development team for Ark has gone to Sony numerous times with, hey, put our game up on the platform. They're like, well, we're not putting it up until it's completely done. But they did put a lot of marketing behind, No Man's Sky, and they're gonna allow a lot more for that game. Just like they would allow for first party compared to a smaller indie game or a multiplat. I feel that's what their way of thinking with that. But it is a great point because it does feel definitely like a game preview at that point in time, man.
Well, I think a lot of us also thought that the game should be like, we remember us talking about it and just being fair to the game itself. We wouldn't have been as upset about it if it was a game preview situation, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember talking about it next, and I think everyone was kind of in an agreements there, right? Mm-hmm. And that's literally what we got. You know what I mean? They're just not calling it a preview. So I'm a big fan of, you got to make sure when you present something to a consumer, you got to be transparent with what you're presenting to that consumer. It's one thing to get a consumer hyped, excited about your product, but you got to be fair to your consumer and make them have them realize what they're actually spending their hard-earned dollar for.
Yo, my bad. Yo, huge shout out to Snaps. She is responding in the chat, driving her car, and freaking out about a spider all at the same time. So, what was it? Oates was like, texting, YouTube, and spider. Why do I feel like this is not a safe trip? Yeah. Dude, you should be in the passenger seat when all that happens. That's all I got to say. Like, I grabbed that oh shit handle, and I damn near break that thing off of the roof of the car, yeah. I'm just saying.
No, that's totally fine. But I mean, on the whole No Man's Sky, at least they're putting effort, and I don't think they should be praised for that. I think that that's the right thing to do, in regards to that. And I hope they continue to realize their dream and take the money that they were given and implement it into making a better game, because that's what they told the customer.
So spend it on hookers on a lonely island somewhere. Got you.
No, not quite that. That's a totally different game that you want to play, apparently. But
isn't that Project Pimp Cup right there?
Oh!
No, that's the thing. If Xbox really wants to get excited about games that are not till several years out from release, I guess they can just show them a little bit of Project Pimp Cup.
Yeah, show me a little leg of that game. No,
I think we all would like to see that, Don.
There's some teases coming soon.
Don, I was gonna say we need a tease, man. We need a sneak peek, something.
Definitely.
I'm trying to make it so there's a steady stream of teasing, in regards to all that. So.
Oh, like Donald Trump in Russia, the steady stream.
Oh,
yeah, I woke Mega up real quick.
Yes, you do. Now you talking on my level. We talking about some politics. Let's go.
K-Mega just got excited about a comb over.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
He thought Live Wires was in here. He's like, Donald Trump, what?
Yeah, I thought Live was in here.
We need the dolphin sound.
Yeah, man.
But guys, that's pretty much. That's pretty much the topics for today. I feel like we had a bunch of really good discussions. We did end it on No Man's Sky. So, Born to Tease, we stopped talking No Man's Sky. You can slap that thumbs up button now. Do what you got to do, man. Guys, again, it is always a pleasure coming over here every Saturday and talking gaming news with you guys. We have to put in the outros, though. And I'm going to start with... the chinchilla wearing fool himself, man. Don, where can people get a hold of you? What have you been up to? And when are those teases coming, man?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. There's a little link below. If you're curious of what my gamer tag is, it's just like the link below, but it says space between the Don and KTR versus underscore.
That was already over explanation. You gotta work on that for next week, sir.
Yeah, whatever. And obviously you can follow me on Happy Little Polygons. That is my YouTube channel. I dub it as for my portfolio, give some opinion pieces, a little variety on Happy Little Polygons in regards to that. And soon as 33 more frames are done rendering, I will have an animation for next podcast. If you guys want to see a preview, you can see it on Happy Little Polygon. So
nice. So are we kind of claiming new intro for next week, man?
You already liked what I was showing you. Now it's all coming together. I have 2 computers working on it, and I kind of dropped the i7 because it was literally 4 days behind the Ryzen 7.
Holy shit!
Build.
4 days?
4 days behind, yeah.
Damn, Intel, step up your game, man.
Well, it's one of those things, like when you see all the things about Ryzen when they give you those little demos, right? Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh, that's a little bit faster. You got to think about like a long-term render, because this one has like ray tracing and real-time reflections and all sorts of stuff going on. Just kind of give all that extra bit of added little detail. And what's interesting is with the Intel build, the actual CPU would overheat and shut down the whole computer. The computer would just basically go into emergency mode and just shut it all down. Otherwise, it would get too hot. Mm-hmm. And so I had to underclock the CPU, so it wouldn't do that. So it wouldn't get too hot, because when you render, it runs all cores, all threads at 100% utilization the whole entire time. But with the Ryzen, it has this, it can kind of tell what's going on with the temperature, so it'll throttle down, throttle up, does all that different type of stuff, and then so it's consistently always working on it. And it's just, you can see how the chip gets smarter as it goes on. It starts to try to pre-calculate things, or tries to memorize certain commands. You can actually see the renders get faster per frame. So when I have, you have to, like in this case, this animation is only 361 frames, right? And literally each frame is taking up to 44 minutes to render, right? Like at the littlest, that number starts dwindling down less and less as the render goes on. So yeah, Ryzen is the future. Intel needs to step up their game for sure.
Nice. I will let you know. The kind of like the next animation that's at the end of our intros now. I did that animation in Blender, and when I went to process it, I have like no GPU. I have an i5 that deals also, with integrated graphics and stuff. That thing took an actual full-on week to freaking process through, man. It was crazy, dude. I had to leave my computer on for a week just to have that like go through, yeah.
Absolutely. But this is hopefully a step in a game. This is all Xbot inspired. It's his logo and everything like that. But just kind of add in that extra little bit of flair, combining our talents. So
that little bit of Ric Flair.
Exactly.
Awesome, brother, man. Yo, Dark, man, I know I have to step up my description game and actually put your Twitter in there, and my apologies for that. That will be in ASAP, but why don't you let everybody know where they could get a hold of you, man? Another great show, by the way. It was a lot of fun, talking these topics with you, man. Why don't you let everybody know, dude?
Definitely, man. You guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. Not playing Tekken 7.
Ever.
But yeah, ever again. But Bot, always a pleasure being on this podcast, man. I always love coming on here, man. And it's always a blast, dude, talking to Kate.
More than 2 words this time. That's all I gotta say.
And the Don, more than 2 words. I got some words in, because Fat Gamer, Crap Gamer. And he likes to talk a lot. He takes over the show, and I just let him do his thing, because he feels special that way.
He feels special.
Wait, no, get this correct. Did you say Fat Gamer, you're crap, instead of Crap Gamer, you're crap? Is that what you said?
I said Fat Gamer, Crap Gamer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yo, huge shout out to Crap Gamer, who was in the chat. Yo, huge shout out to everybody who was tuned in live today. Yo, the chat was absolute fire. Yo, Mega Man, do you have your Mega Man? See, now every time I hear it, I freaking hear it. Yo, Mega, do you have your scroll ready? You want to let people know, your many appearances throughout the week? Oh shit.
Shout out to my boy Livewire. And we ready to get this party started, because it's Saturday night. I don't know what I'm going to be gaming on, but I want to be gaming on something. And yeah, man, thank you guys for coming out here, hanging out with us, people in the chat. Now, I'm going to cut off a little bit of my outro because there was a listener, Sir X-Man, that was asking about Street Fighter 4 backwards compat. Now, I think everybody should already know that it's out. Now, maybe some people might not know that if you've already owned Ultra, you get that. And I don't even know if you got it for free. I know I already own Ultra, but you can convert that into Ultra Street Fighter 4, so which is the best Street Fighter out. Because looking at Street Fighter 5 and that last character that they added, Abigail, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so you could
finally you talked about a good fight.
Automated, as far as I understand, because I didn't have that version, but I had the other. The next thing you know, it populated my ready to download list. So
right, so I guess it's free if you bought it. Yeah, so it might be if you bought it, then it's free. It's right there. It looks beautiful. It plays excellent. So yeah, man. Shout out to Xbox backwards compat. That's always dope. Yeah, the podcast, man, the multiplayer, BGST, Next, the GRG podcast, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You know what I'm saying? Come and check out my channel. I just put up some gameplay of Brutal Legend and Hellblade. So go check that out on my channel.
That was the metal, man. Brutal Legend.
Yes, I never played it before. And I was trying to tell you to watch it because I was like, this game is fire. I stayed away from it back then because people told me that it was trash.
Because you hate it.
Well, you know, I got homeboys. They ain't into metal and shit like that. So you know. And so, I
somebody gonna send you a Slipknot T-shirt now.
Yeah. So it's but yeah, and Hellblade is for the price is dope visually because I bought it on the PC. I bought it to where I want to actually see a game in 1080p or 1440p. So it's absolutely one of the most stunning looking games I've ever seen in my life. Rise still holds strong. This game definitely competes with Rise.
Oh damn!
It is beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But if you know, and for my score for so far for what I played, I give it an 8. Anybody calling saying it's a 9, it's a 10. I can't rock with that because the game is very linear. You don't run, you don't jump, and there's not that much combat. But story wise, with schizophrenia is great.
Didn't I tell you that was one to look out for back when I did that one conference?
Yes, you did. You told me to look out for it, and I've been waiting for it. And I had to cop it, man. So it was and just imagine if you got it on your PC or whatever, even if you got it on PlayStation 4. Just imagine what this game is going to look like when it comes over to the Xbox and it'll be on the Xbox One X. I mean, good God, man, it is a beautiful looking game. So no, we just had the regular crew. Yes, this week
they're like 6-7 people.
You know what? I think all day brought in Porter Rock and Alex. So you know what I'm saying. I don't know, but I had no idea what was going on because of my current situation. Well, that situation, that episode. So I don't know what was going on. So yeah,
you're gonna have to have me back on there when you're not drunk.
yeah, well, definitely, man. I'm definitely come on. Yeah, so I can't wait for you guys to come on and we have the full set, and so we could go ahead and just have some fun crazy. And talk about topics. Yeah,
you know definitely. So I am a part of. Yo, somebody better shut Flipper the up, all right? Yeah, but I'm definitely a part of the GRG family. I'm also a part of the Crossfire family. Shout out to Mooch and everybody on that panel as well. But it is Saturday, guys, and I know the true gamers want to get those controllers in their hands. You know, K-Mega has probably been playing the entire time we were doing this show. But to everybody out in the chat, yo, thank you so much for checking the show out live. For everybody who checks us out afterwards, because I know, you know, people can't stop life just to come over here and check out the show. We really do appreciate the support. This is your show, guys. You inspire us to keep coming together every Saturday. Your support has been absolutely tremendous. And I'm going to say it just like I say every Saturday. We will catch you next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.